I should be careful and say something here about the second law of thermodynamics, because people sometimes get confused. The second law says that the entropy of a closed system tends to increase. In plain language, that means things tend to go from ordered to disordered. A sandcastle falls apart. A hot cup of coffee cools down. A living body decays. This is real, and it's important. The second law is the reason that complex patterns like you and me don't last forever. It takes energy to maintain the pattern, to keep the dance going, to fight the natural tendency toward disorder. When you die, that fight stops and entropy wins. The pattern dissolves. But notice what the second law does not say. It does not say that matter or energy is destroyed. It says that organization is lost. The stuff is still there. It's just reshuffled into a less organized arrangement. The atoms of a decomposed body are still atoms. The energy of a cooled-down fire is still energy. It's just spread out, diluted, harder to use for anything useful. And here is one more thing I want you to think about, because I think it's the most astonishing fact in all of science. The universe is about 14 billion years old, give or take. For most of that time, there was no one around to look at it. No eyes, no brains, no thoughts. Just hydrogen and helium, collapsing into stars, exploding, making heavier atoms, collapsing again. For billions and billions of years, the universe was just matter, doing what matter does. Blindly, stupidly, each atom minding its own business. And then, somewhere on a small rocky planet orbiting an ordinary star in an ordinary galaxy, some of those atoms arranged themselves into a pattern that could think, that could wonder, that could look up at the night sky and ask, what is all this? Why is there something instead of nothing? You are the universe looking at itself. You are atoms that have arranged themselves into a configuration so complex, so extraordinary, that the configuration can contemplate its own existence. That has never happened before in 14 billion years of cosmic history, as far as we know, except here, except now, except in things like you and me. And yes, the pattern is temporary. It will end. The dance will stop. But the fact that it happened at all, that atoms could arrange themselves into something that feels joy and wonder and grief and love, that is not diminished by the fact that it's temporary. If anything, it's made more remarkable. I have no patience for the idea that knowing the science takes the beauty out of a flower, or the mystery out of life, or the meaning out of death. It does the opposite. When you understand that every atom in your body was cooked in a star, that your consciousness is a pattern held together by electrochemical signals in a lump of matter that was once scattered across a galaxy, and that every bit of you will go back to the earth and the sky and the ocean to become part of other things, other patterns, other dances, how can that be anything but magnificent? We are not separate from the universe. We are the universe, temporarily organized, briefly aware. And when the organization ends, the components return to the pool from which the next pattern will be drawn. So, is death the end? From the point of view of the pattern, yes, the dance stops. From the point of view of the atoms, the energy, the fundamental stuff of reality, no. It's not even a pause. It's just a change of partner. I don't know what happens to consciousness when the brain stops. Nobody does. Physics doesn't have a complete theory of consciousness, and anyone who tells you otherwise is selling you something. What physics can tell you, and tell you with absolute certainty, is that not a single atom of your body will be destroyed. Not a single joule of energy will vanish. Everything you are, in the physical sense, will continue in a different form, in a different pattern, but it will continue. And there's one more thing. Every person who has ever lived, every person who has ever loved you, every person whose atoms have passed through you and yours through them, they are all woven into the same great fabric of matter and energy that makes up this universe. The atoms in your right hand may have once been in the body of a farmer in ancient Egypt. The oxygen you just exhaled may end up in the lungs of someone 1,000 years from now. We are all connected, not by sentiment, but by physics, by the simple, stubborn, beautiful fact that atoms endure. So the next time someone asks you what happens when you die, you can tell them what physics says. The candle goes out, yes, but every atom of the candle is still here. The flame is gone, but the heat it produced is still warming the room, warming the air, dissipating out into the world, joining the immense ocean of energy that has been flowing through this universe since the beginning of time. Nothing is lost, nothing. The dance changes. The music plays on. Now, I want to hear from you. Here's a question worth thinking about. If every atom in your body gets replaced over the course of a few years, and you are really a pattern, not a thing, then what exactly makes you you? Write down your best answer. I'd love to know what you come up with.